last year was a great year for us. Finished fourth in the nation as a team at the individual national tournament. Although, with everything that happened last year, we had an abbreviated season, so we got a little much shorter season in the sense that, we didn't get as many competitions as we normally are. So getting back to a full schedule is exciting for us. We have a great group of young freshmen coming in. One of them sitting to my right, DiCugno, made the junior world team this year and got to wrestle at the junior world championships in Ufa, Russia. And then Lizzie Miller here on the left, she was an All-American last year at 123 pounds as a freshman as well. So, that kind of mix of great incoming freshmen, great returners is really kind of prospecting us into a great season, and we're looking forward to getting started. We have our inter squad showcase tomorrow night where we're going to have some of our freshmen and older girls coming in and competing against each other for those starting lineup spots. And then we hit the road just like normal. We head out to the Falcon Invite in Wichita, Kansas, and we'll start that season. I'm really excited about getting back on the mat and getting out and competing. It feels like it's been too long. I know we just kind of were at Senior World Team Trials in September, but it's been a long time as a team that we're going out to compete, so I'm really excited about that.
Yesterday, national rankings came out. Team picked sixth. I think there's eight ranked wrestlers.
Seven
ranked wrestlers, and that's in those individual rankings. Just talk about those accolades.
It's always nice to have the preseason rankings. I don't put a lot of stock in the rankings. It's fun for the media. It's fun for the wrestling fans to see their favorite team and where they stack up against the nation's best. I think last year we started at like 6 or 7 or 8, and we still finished 4th. So I don't put a lot of stock in those preseason, but it's nice. You get to see the hard work of the individuals that we have on the team and all their efforts being recognized for that. Right? We have Genesis Martinez, a 2-time All-American, ranked 4th in the nation at 101 pounds, and I think she's gonna have a breakout year. She's had a tremendous summer, and been right on the cusp of being in the national finals, being in the semifinals 2 times in a row. And again, the girls that win the national championships we've beaten at some point, so I know she's right there. You have Marissa Gallegos, who just made the senior national team, ranked 2nd. Elizabeth is 8th at 123 pounds. Dahlia Garibay is kind of ranked a little bit lower than I'd like. 1, 2, and 3 are the only people she's lost to in her collegiate career, and we're ranked 7th, but it is what it is. Or had not All-American last year due to an injury in the national tournament. That's just how it goes. Kaylee Haynes, formerly Kaylee Lacey, got married this summer, so her last name's Haynes now. Consistent for us. She's been a 2-time All-American at 143 pounds, and she just consistently is there for us. Zoe Gress, ranked at 155, freshman last year for us. And then you have Isabeau Shellac as well, returning All-American at 191 pounds. So a great group of returners, and I expect our freshmen to kind of really jump into the rankings as soon as we start competing in the next couple weeks.
It seems like every week, 2 weeks, somebody else announces that they're adding women's wrestling, and kind of seeing the growth. Does it kind of get you even more excited to see more and more schools adding sport?
Absolutely. I know. I've talked to Yonke about it. I kind of think we all know what we're alluding to. University of Iowa adding, Big Ten school power conference, the first one of the power conferences. What I'm most excited about is being the first team to go into Carver Hawkeye and win there. That's what I'm excited about. I want to be that team. I know that, these big power Division I schools are adding, which is fantastic. I think it's for the growth of the sport. But the reality is where we are at with the NCAA emerging sports test, we're all in the same category. We're all in the same boat. So, the teams to beat are Colorado Mesa, not the University of Iowa, not Sacred Heart, not whatever next big Division I team is. So I'm really excited about that, having that opportunity for us as athletes to go and compete in Carver Hawkeye. I was there in 2016 for the Olympic trials coaching, and one of the best experiences that I've ever had. And I want to be able to experience that again as a coach, now at a single dual level, because the atmosphere there is fantastic and electric.
Coach mentioned off the top, this schedule is different than it was last year. Can you talk a little bit about how that's changing your preparations going into this season?
Last year was kind of hit and miss. It's like, hey, we're getting ready to compete. Oh, by the way, this team's not going to wrestle. So then we have to make some changes. And we didn't really compete for a semester as an organization in the sense of women's wrestling, NCAA women's wrestling. We all said, hey, none of us are going to compete until January. So that really condensed the season. I think that was the biggest difference, is we had to remap out where we wanted to peak, and it was short. It was January, mid-February, we're wrestling at the regional championship, and then all of a sudden we're at the national championship in a 8-week, 9-week time frame, where now we have, if you will, 16 weeks, a little bit more than that, of wrestling to kind of map out. So it's being strategic and making sure that we're going to the right competitions, so that way our girls are getting the right matchups and getting practice in to lead up to the national championship. I think a big theme for me the next year, or, going into this season, is, we've traveled everywhere over the past 3 seasons, right? You guys can look at our schedule, a 15-hour bus ride, plane trip to the southeast, and I've been very vocal about it probably this past summer. I'm tired of traveling to all these teams for them to get a look at us. If they want to get a look at us, they need to start coming out to us and start competing against Colorado Mesa and coming out here to wrestle us. So, that's a big thing for our schedule. It's just being strategic and making sure that we're getting the right competitions in. I am really excited about national duels being back. I think the big thing for me is that the men's team is also traveling. So with the men's team traveling, it's kind of, I remember 2 years ago when we were wrestling McKendree in the semifinals, and McKendree's men's team is there, and they're not wrestling at the time. They're in the stands, and it's a big horse arena, so they were kind of right over on the edge. And, every takedown that the girls from McKendree got, it was cheers and loud, and anytime we scored, it was, again, in a polite, fun way, competitive way, boos and jeers, and it kind of felt like you were wrestling a home duel against McKendree at a neutral site, where this year we're going to have that kind of camaraderie with our men's team. I think we have a fantastic relationship, so it's going to be a fun trip for us.
Forgive me for ignorance, but one of the things that Coach Pfeiffer is excited about with this season is more opens, right? Are you guys kind of in the same boat? You're going to look at some of the people that maybe you didn't get a look at last year?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing with going to the Falcon Invite. It's a new tournament. We normally go to the Missouri Valley Open, which is a little bit, I don't want to say bigger, but it has a little bit different teams. We're not going to go that way. We're going to go to the one in Wichita, Kansas. We're hosting our home tournament. We have a handful of teams coming, so that's exciting to do. Going to Great Falls, Montana this year instead of going down to Wayland Baptist. So I've really kind of changed it up because I want different looks. I want to try to catch Simon Fraser at some competitions. They're always a top team to wrestle, especially with them not wrestling last year. I want to try to get a look at them before we really kind of get in the meat and potatoes of the season.
You also mentioned, are there wrestle-offs going on tomorrow? That's what you said? Can you talk a little bit about some of the weight classes that we're open at right now?
We've tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Bronson Arena, we're doing our inter-squad showcase. I don't always call them wrestle-offs. Part of them are. We're going to try to see who our top person is at certain weight classes. I think a weight class that we've struggled that past few years is 109 pounds, and we have 2 freshmen who are really exciting to watch. Maya Cortez, who's from Chicago, Illinois, who was a state champ, and then we also have Carissa Eppling from Tremonton, Utah, who was a state placer. She finished 3rd at her state tournament last year, so kind of a really good matchup at 109 pounds. 116 pounds is another intriguing one for us. We have 2-time All-American Anya Scholl, and then Elizabeth Miller is going to be kind of cutting down to 116 pounds as well. So now we have 2 All-Americans that are going to be competing for that starting lineup. But then we also have a couple freshmen at 116 pounds who are really, done well as well and so far in practice. Another weight class is 130 pounds. Claire, right, junior world team coming in as a freshman. And then we have a handful of girls at 130 pounds who, are eager to jump into that spot and fill that hole for us. Another one is 191 pounds. Again, you have Isabeau Shellac, who's returning as an All-American. But then we have 3 girls that are equally as competitive. So it's nice to have some depth in these weight classes. It allows us to be flexible, allows us to give our older girls some time off when it's needed, and also give these younger girls a chance at competition experience, so that way when it is their time to shine, they're ready to go for us.
Well, you guys as wrestlers, right, Coach, rattling off accolades up and down the roster. What is that like for you guys? That's why you came to Colorado Mesa, right, to be the standard bearer. How does that feel going into this season?
It feels good. It's really nice to have practice partners and other people to challenge. I know sometimes it can be our weight classes are super deep, or who's gonna go, who's gonna compete. But it's really nice just to have that competition and push each other in the room.
It's what I was looking for when I was choosing my colleges. I was looking for the best. I want someday this team to be a national championship team. We can do it this year. I know we can, and those accolades are all just the work that this team has put in the past, and I'm just happy to be a part of that and continue to grow it.
For you guys too, what's the vibes like in the wrestling room?
It's really great. It's super awesome, just all around. Everyone's really supportive of each other. The coaches are trying to get us to rip each other's heads off more, because that's the issue, is we're too kind to each other. So, but even as like a freshman coming in, all of the girls have taken care of me so much. Kaylee Haynes, who he's talked about previously, All-American from last year, like, she washed my shirt, the blood stains out of my shirt, because I don't have a laundry machine that can do that.
I agree. The vibes in the room are really good. It's nice too because we all have our bad days. We all have those days where we're just dragging ourselves across the mat trying to get from one practice to the next, and that's what our team's here for, lifting us up. Our coaches too, just pushing us and just making sure that we get the best out of every single practice.
I think the new biggest vibe in the room and is assistant coach Amanda Hendy, our newest assistant, right? I think it goes without saying that having her as an addition to this program has been a tremendous asset already in the short amount of time that she's been here. The past 3 years it's just been me, and we've done a really great job. I think we were a top 10 recruiting class, and people said we didn't have a great recruiting class, and I was like, yeah, but you don't count in having Amanda Hendy, who is a 3-time senior national team member, spent the past 5 years at the Olympic Training Center, tons of international experience and international medals, coming into our room as a coach. Like, that's a big game changer in the sense of adding something to our program. And I think having her in the room now creates an environment where these young female athletes can say, hey, that can be me. Amanda's done it, I can do it. I'm going to take from her experiences. She's been on the junior Pan Am team, senior Pan Am team, and these are two things that these two girls specifically right here are something that they want to do. I think we saw an immediate impact with Marissa and Claire at senior world team trials, with Marissa making that senior world team. Could she have done it if it was just me here? Yeah, probably. But I think having Amanda here was a key asset to Marissa making that senior national team in September.
Sounds like the sky's the limit. Do you have specific goals for your team right now?
It's always, you always say national championship, right? I think that's something that's always a goal, right? The end goal. For me, it's doing better than the next thing. We've always talked about that, right? It's not necessarily about winning and losing in our program. It's about performing at our best at every opportunity that we get. So I want to improve on last year, improve on yesterday. It's being, not fourth, right? Simon Fraser's back in the mix, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. King, Emmanuel, Colorado Mesa, Simon Fraser. That's, the top 5 right there. One of us is not coming home with a trophy this year, right? So it's always improving. I would like to finish 3rd this year. I would like to have 9, 10 All-Americans. And I think at the end of the day, some of the big goals aren't necessarily the collegiate goals, but it's helping these girls, grow into themselves, develop as student athletes. And then also, if we're doing all the things right in the collegiate season, right, Claire's going to make another return trip to the Junior Worlds. And I don't remember, Belgrade, Serbia, maybe, wherever it's at this year, right? Lizzie making that Junior World team as well, right? Those are the things that we're looking forward to on the back end too, right? If we put all these things together in the collegiate season, the senior level, junior level accolades will come along with it.
Well, Claire, with it being your first season, what's kind of the first step into becoming one of the great Colorado Mesa wrestlers that it sounds like you want to be?
Definitely the first step for me has just been showing up, and just showing up, not only just stepping into the room, but showing up to be ready, showing up to listen to the coaches, showing up to learn from my partners. Marissa Gallegos and Lizzie have helped me so much already, and it's only been 2 months. Coach Amanda Hendy is so much better than I thought she was coming in. I can't lay a finger on her. She has already made me better in every aspect of my wrestling. She's actually added weapons to my arsenal that I never thought I'd be able to hit at this point. So just coming in with open ears, open eyes, just trying to learn everything I can.
And what's that feeling for you when you get first on that? Or do you got butterflies kind of waiting for tomorrow and then when your first duel or tournament is?
I won't lie, I don't get super excited when I win because I expect to. It's expected for me. It's fun to win, I enjoy it, but it's just if I don't wrestle well, then I didn't truly win. If I win on the scoreboard, but I didn't hit the moves I was planning on or wrestle to my best, I didn't truly win. So, just how it goes.
Is that kind of what you've taken from, like, the junior world, the competition that you faced? Did that kind of prepare you for this?
The Junior World Tournament was an amazing experience, but it wasn't what has made me prepared for this. My team back home, I was able to train with a bunch of college wrestlers already coming into this, and they really helped me prepare for this. And I just was able to look forward into being able to train with a whole room of college wrestlers instead of 3 or 4.
How do you guys just feel physically coming off the off-season? How excited are you to get started?
I feel good. I feel like our team looks good too. It seems like the off season is kind of like a break time for mini sports, but we still just keep pushing, and so it's exciting for me because I feel like that's the time when you're gonna get ahead of the game, and so when everyone else is taking that off time or whatever break they feel like they need, that's when we're pushing and we're still in the room lifting, doing everything we need to do, and I mean, there's obviously time for recovery in that too, but I feel like that's just the time to push and just get past our breaking points so that in the season we are able to push as hard as we need to. So
I feel strong. I'm moving up weight classes, so.
All right, question of the week.
Question of the week. What was your favorite Halloween costume as a kid?
I got this. Mine was a homemade Rubik's Cube that my parents made me, and it took up my entire body, so it's just like my head and my shoes sticking out and then like my fingers, and I would try to run at my siblings, and by the end of it the box was breaking, but it was a good time.
My parents got really into Halloween when we were kids, so we had a lot of really good costumes, but my favorite by far was Big Bird.
All right, disclaimer, I'm anti-Halloween. It's not my favorite. But when I was younger, I'm a little bit of a video game guy. I was Sonic the Hedgehog, and I got some bright red Converse high tops because I thought they would make the costume and I could run faster. So, disclaimer, I'm not a big Halloween person, but that was my favorite one growing up.